Okay, so like, what even is insecurity? What is the process that's going on? Something about you makes someone feel a certain type of way. What would drive that desire for them to want to like see you as bad or harm you or attack you in some way? And the thing is, at the base of everything, before humans can do anything, like before we can eat, before we can sleep, before we can like make decisions and try to pursue any kind of goals or love or anything, is we all need safety. We need safety at the base of our triangle of things that we need. Safety and security is the number one thing that we need. Well, it's not just like having a roof over your head or whatever. It's that you need to have a sense of like stable, a sense of stability inside, and as far as things that you believe. And society doesn't really provide for that, or like our conditioning doesn't really provide for that, because there's a whole lot of like telling us that things are one way, and then as we grow, we see, and what's modeled for us is not what they told us it's going to be. Like we're told, oh, these are like this and this and this, but then when you're in life and you're actually doing these things, that's not what they're like at all. So you don't know what the fuck to believe. But over time, and based on the people that we're around, we start to like absorb the beliefs of others. Either that these are things that we hear regularly, like from our parents, or there's things that we've seen or had experience with ourselves. So we start to believe that these things are true. So say that you hold a belief of like, oh, women just want money, like in dating. All women care about is money. Then if you hold this belief, every interaction that you have from then on is going to be you like interpreting and viewing this woman that you're meeting with as all of her actions are like filtered through that lens of, oh, she just wants money. You don't actually get to see what's going on. But even if these beliefs are not true, you need a sense of like knowing what's going on in the world. Like you have to have the stability of like, this is the way things are, and these are the rules by which I know how to operate. This is how I know how to move in the world, because these are the things that I've experienced, and this is what I know to be true. Well, if you happen to come across or meet somebody that is like obviously not operating within what you believe, if it completely contradicts everything that you know to be true, and they can like consistently contradict what you know to be true, that triggers that, what, like this is how it's supposed to be. What do you mean this is why you're doing that? Like that makes no sense. So that's scary. That's your sense of like, that's why people will fight to the death, or like fight for politics. I think I got a damn sticker how to walk down the block, because like everybody of course decides to start construction. But that's why people will like fight for politicians that are obviously doing like horrible things, or you form an identity around these beliefs, like the things that are even just ideas, or things that you've heard over and over again. So these are being like repeated and reinforced within your brain. If something contradicts that shakes your inner core of stability. Because then if you're wrong about that, if that's not true, then what else are you wrong about? Like what is even true at all? Like that shakes the foundation, because you're like, if I was interpreting these things in the wrong way, what can I trust myself to interpret things correctly? Like that, it's jarring. And then it just shifts the way you see. Certain beliefs can shift the entire way that you see like your reality. So if you're someone who does not have, also if your environment is unsafe, like your ability to adapt new beliefs, like to accept new beliefs and integrate new views or change things that you've believed your whole life, your ability to hold open-mindedness essentially depends on how safe you are in general, like in your environment. You have to think it. If I'm going to incorporate this new belief, if I'm going to actually accept that this thing is could possibly be true, then you have to see how difficult it's going to be to accept that into your life. And if you're surrounded by people that also believe this thing, that also believe that, say the belief is like, everyone lies, everyone has like a manipulative, like everyone manipulates, nothing is sincere, we're all playing some game, you know, this is like tends to be something that is believed, you know. And if you come across somebody that repeatedly, you know, disproves that, your ability to actually be able to see that, to even accept that that's a possibility of what could be going on, that this person actually could be sincere and genuine, depends on how hard it will be for you to accept that. And for some people, they're surrounded by people that all operate in that same belief system. Everybody believes these things. Everyone, you know, has the thoughts, and they put out the energy. It's all congruent with, this is what we believe, this is how we know the world, and this is how we operate. They might even say these things, it's just shown in their behavior. It's just shown in how they go about the world. So if everyone in your life also believes that, you know, it lives that way. Because if that is beliefs you hold, definitely shape like your actions and your behaviors and how you treat other people. So if everyone in your life acts in this way, you know, based on these beliefs, how easy is it going to be for you to change, and for you to implement that? No, I have the right to develop my own values, my own beliefs, and my own perspective, and I can choose to realize that other people's treatment of me doesn't actually have anything to do with me, and I can just choose to bypass what the fuck ever else, you know, they believe, and live by my beliefs, live by what I know to be true. So my headphones just powered off, so I lost my train of thought. But a lot of times it's really, really hard. Your whole social system, your whole family and everybody is operating under this belief system, your like community. It would be a lot easier instead to just flip it around on the person that's triggering that insecurity and blaming them and making them the bad guy. That's an easier story for them to accept. That's an easier story for you to accept, instead of accepting that, like, oh, some people do act in sincerity. Some people do show up authentically. Some people choose not to take advantage of others, even if they have the opportunity. Some people do things that nobody else in the world would do, and just because they believe that's the right thing to do. Instead of believing all those things, it is much easier for them to fit the story they've been telling themselves and be like, oh no, that's just high level manipulation. That's just, they're doing this because of this, and they will change. They'll like manipulate their actions to fit this narrative of what makes it more comfortable for them to handle inside. And so essentially, like, your ability to be open-minded depends on how safe it is for you to be. If you're unsafe from your environment, like, say you did adopt a new belief and that's going to trigger insecurity in your entire social system, they're going to attack you. That's hella unsafe, right? They're going to attack you because then you're going to start triggering them, and they're going to be coming at you. So if it's unsafe for you to be open-minded, you can't be. That's why it's so important. It's so important to be so particular about where you choose to put your energy, where you choose what you're choosing to absorb. Because everything that people are like, people that they don't even have to be saying it. It could be things they're thinking that goes into their energy signature, and it's projected outwards into like everything that you think, that you do, your habits, the things you write down, songs you listen to, shows you watch, thoughts you indulge in, all that stuff comes together. And the people that you're around, like your environment. So say that you're just eating like crappy food, like, even if it's not something that's said out loud, what message does that send to yourself? If you're just like not caring about how you're eating, you're not really like, you know, doing things to take care of yourself, or like acting like somebody that cares or loves themselves, that's going to send the message to you that, hey, I don't love you. We don't love ourselves. So then when you go to make decisions and decide what you're going to do, or what you're going to take in, or what you're going to, you know, get rid of, you're gonna base your decisions on that belief, that part of the story that's like, oh, well, I'm someone who doesn't care about myself, so why would I make a decision that means that I care about myself if I don't? If this is my belief. You know what I mean? So your environment will contribute to your energy. The people that you choose to spend time around, that will play a role in your energy signature. Even if you are, fucking made of gold, if you are surrounding yourself with a bunch of people that aren't, you're going to be getting attacked all the time. They're sending like shit. They can be nice as fuck to you, but they're sending like bad thoughts to you. That affects your energy. If they're like, oh, who does she think, that is going to affect how you're able to feel about yourself. So you have to be strict. That's what boundaries really are. It's not about like, oh, you gotta follow my rules if you want access to me. No, is your presence in my life actually good for me? Is the way that you're treating me, like, is that coherent? Does that fit with behavior that means you care about me? Because I care about me. So why would I continue to be around you or interact with you if your behavior shows that you do not care about me? Like, you have to always consider the messages of everything that you do and what it's sending to yourself, like what it means to you. Like, your subconscious is always taking note of how you treat you, and that is going to be reflected in the people that you're around. Or like, if you're always sacrificing yourself for other people, then the people you're around are going to be totally happy with you sacrificing yourself for them. They're like, oh, hey, cool, that's a martyr right there, badass, let's do this. You don't have to say it. They will feel it. They will know. So that's what boundaries really are. Your boundaries are all about the rules you live by, what energy you allow into your presence, what people you will allow to affect your beliefs and your ideas. Because we are like making small updates to things all the time. But if someone comes in and they're telling you things and you allow that to shape how you see the world, or you allow that, like even me right now sharing this, you should never just blindly accept something. I mean, there are some times that we're exposed to something that we just know, like, we don't have to go look up research or any of that. You just remember, you're like, oh, well, that's just fucking common sense. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like instinct. There are some cases like that, but don't ever just totally blindly accept something and enmesh it with who you are and what you believe. Like, check it against yourself. Like, check it against like, what are their motivations? Like, why are they telling me this? Is there something that they gain from this? Is there some way that they are helped by me accepting this? And like, check how, they live their lives and stuff. Are you gonna listen to somebody that is fucking miserable and like is awful to their wife? If they're awful to their wife, they're gonna be awful to their friends. They're gonna be awful to their coworkers. The way you do something is the way you do everything. So, take some time to consider you outside of everybody's energy. Completely go into you, away from everybody and everything, and then you can dictate your boundaries. Then you can decide what you will accept, what you won't. You can be around other people and hear what they have to say, but you get to choose whether or not you're going to let any of that affect you. But why would you put yourself around a bunch of people that are going to, like, that you're always having to fight off like shit energy from anyways? So just don't. You could just do that. You have permission to just get rid of anybody out of your life because it's not good for you. Of course, they're going to object to that because they feed off of you. You know what I mean? If they have influence or power over your life and over how you do things or your decision making, that gives them a sense of importance. That gives them a sense of, like, I don't know, superiority or something. Like, and the less important that somebody feels they are on their own, the more they need to be important with other people. Like, if somebody does not feel important just by who they are inside and the beliefs they hold and all that, or they don't feel important in their job, or they don't even feel like respected or valued by their wife or kids, they just don't feel important inside, then that's more that they need to like grasp from other people. That makes them more hungry for importance, for influence, for, and some people get really hella ugly trying to fuck with people's lives just to feel like they matter. So self-love is important. Insecurity is like a poison that just seeps through everything. So yeah, that's what that is. I was rewatching what I recorded. So I just wanted to like add something else that makes it really difficult to accept a new belief. Like I was talking about how hard it would be, not just, because of who you're around or whatever, but people could have or really struggle with accepting like that they misinterpreted something or a new belief when implementing that belief or accepting that belief also makes them have to face their actions and what they did while under the impression of the old belief. So say that they are realizing that they misinterpreted something and that they're going, in order to be able to accept that, to understand that as being true, to actually like see it from that point of view, that means they also have to accept that they acted in a way like under the impression of this old belief or whatever, and treated that person while in the impression of the old belief, and with the understanding of like, say people just all manipulate and lie, so they acted in that way, they acted under the influence of that belief, so they have to accept that they were like fucking an asshole. They have to accept how shitty that makes them. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to accept that whatever narrative that they hold, because having to like face and accept that you were being a really shitty human being to somebody that didn't deserve it is hard to face. Like our demons that haunt us and things that keep us up at night aren't really the things that other people do to us. It's the way that we're terrible to other people. That's the things that bother us. That's the things we run from. That's the things that like eat your consciousness. It's not so much like, your abuse and trauma or whatever that you had to deal with. Like that, yeah, that sucks, and we, hold a belief that affects us, or at least society likes to try to make you believe that has this major effect on your life and it affects how you treat people, when really that's just an excuse. You know what I mean? Because I've been through it, and I do not treat people in that way. Just an excuse. But anyways, having to come face to face with the fact that you were a piece of shit is hard. You know what I mean? Because then you're like worried about having to hold that on your consciousness. And if you were acting like a piece of shit and you hold that view of people as being pieces of shit, like that excuses you being a piece of shit in return, because you're just doing what they did to you, right? So having to accept that wasn't the case, and somebody else probably didn't deserve what you did, that requires you to care enough about yourself, requires you to love yourself enough. That sounds so contradictory, right? Like to be able to admit to yourself that you were being shitty, that you have to care about yourself, because that is, though, it's an act of care. Because if you love yourself and if you care about yourself, and if like really loving yourself is loving all the aspects of you, recognizing that we are human and we all fuck up and we all have shadows, we have things that we are ashamed of, things that we wish didn't exist within us, ways that we acted that we wish we hadn't of, or decisions we made, or choices, or naivety, being tricked, being fooled. We hold all these things. We hold shame for things like that. We will hold shame for being tricked by somebody else who did something bad to us. You know what I mean? We will internalize that because we're kind of trained to do that. We're taught through society that the victims are at fault. You know what I mean? Which is convenient for institutions and systems that like to victimize people. But anyways, it is an act of love. It is a message of care to be able to admit that you fucked up, because then you have to be able to, that means that you have the ability to forgive yourself, that you can live with yourself, because you have to live with yourself ongoing and change and decide to change your actions, but to be able to accept it and come face to face with it, to be able to forgive yourself and be like, I can still love you and I can still exist every day and I can still exist with you, and I love myself enough to change my belief. That's just such a hard thing to do. It's so hard to care about yourself enough to own up to your shit. Because if you already don't love yourself, because that's what's making you act in a shitty way, right? if you already don't love yourself, and acting in a shitty way could also mean just like giving all of you to everybody, like sacrificing yourself constantly, like trying to get love. You've been shown that's what love is to have to constantly like sacrifice yourself and allow others to like control or manipulate you, and that maybe if you just like give more and more and more to them, that they'll finally love you back. Like, no, you have to love yourself first. They are not loving you because you are not loving yourself. It's so complicated, but it's worth learning. It changed my life. Changed my life. I mean, I had such a horrible things happen from people I was trying to love and trying to get love from. But I mean, like, I lost everything. I lost everything. And I had to come face to face with the fact that people I really cared for really didn't care about me and had like really bad motives toward me, or really bad intentions towards me. And I believed I was acting in, the way I was supposed to. I mean, I always acted with sincerity and stuff, but way too much of me valuing other people above myself, me valuing giving to them, when we inherently have this like instinct for reciprocity. And the more you give to somebody, and like the more pure whatever it is, then you're like obligating them to have to do that to you. And if that's not the case, then there's the belief that you're manipulating them, because why the hell would you be doing that? You know what I mean? Why are you giving so much of yourself to them? Or they just believe that you're stupid and that you don't realize your value or your worth, and you don't care about yourself. So they're gonna be like, cool, I have the green light to not care about you either. I can treat you like shit because you're treating yourself like shit. Look what you're doing. You're giving all of you to everybody else and then leaving nothing for you. So why wouldn't I take everything from you? But so bringing that to the surface, that's important, so that you can move on with your life in a way where you value and you prioritize yourself, and you take care of yourself first, and you heal yourself first. Then you can worry about everybody else. Once you're healed, then you can actually show up for everybody the way that is in real love, where you're coming not with any kind of anticipation of anything, where there's no like resentment because we're both trying to one up each other or whatever. If we're both in places of insecurity, you just interact with people that also care about themselves and that have the ability to care about you too. So you pour into each other. So yeah, that's all. That's more on that.